Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our second presentation for the day of our Jones Middle School first ever virtual career day. I hope everyone's having a great day so far. It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. We're just going to wait for our presenter to join and then we'll get started. All right. Alrighty, let's fix that. All right. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm okay. It's a day off. So,
Day off's always a good day, right?
yeah. How about you guys?
I'm doing well, working from home, and thank you so much for joining us on your day off.
No worries. This was great. Probably looking forward to this more so than the many other meetings and things going on right now.
Well,
So,
good.
yeah.
So let's go ahead and get started. So please tell us your name and about your career.
Yeah. So, my name is Stefan Flores. I am an emergency physician or doctor here in New York City. So, I work in the emergency room. So, that is a very loaded question, obviously, with everything going on right now
Absolutely.
amidst the pandemic. But as an emergency doctor, our job is to obviously take care of anything and everything that walks through the doors of the emergency room. Not only emergencies, but everyday things, right? So people who comes in with cough and colds, cuts, cold, all these things. So
Yeah.
we're
Little
kind of the
stuff, big
jack of all
stuff.
trades. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I can only imagine what you see in the ER.
yeah.
And especially right now during this difficult time.
It's obviously been a lot, but honestly, it's probably the best time to be an emergency doctor. I would say it's probably been very gratifying. It's been tiring to say the least,
Yeah.
but definitely very rewarding and validating to obviously do what we're doing right now. So I wouldn't be any other place, I should say. So yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so
yeah.
much for all you do as well, because we can't thank you enough for all your hard work as well.
hmm Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So, everyone's got a role to play. So
Yeah.
it's not just obviously us too. Everyone, right? You guys as
Yeah.
teachers and, everyone, frontline workers, people who are working from home. So everyone's contributing and doing their part. So,
We're all
we have to
doing
recognize that. Exactly.
absolutely. So could you tell us a little bit about the education that's required to become a doctor?
Yeah. So it is a lot of school,
Mm.
a lot of
Yeah.
school. So I did 4 years of college after high school, and then after college, I did 4 years of medical school, and then
Okay.
after 4 years of medical school, I did 4 years of residency. So a total of about 12 years of training, which
Mm-hmm.
was a lot. Some people even go on to do more, so they go on to even specialize further. So let's say, they wanted to be an emergency doctor and they wanted to do a specialty within emergency medicine, like doing ultrasound or maybe doing international medicine, and that would be even more training of like a year to 2 years. So you can definitely have a lot of flexibility and do a lot of things with that,
Yeah.
which is why I like my field. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
us honestly don't just do medicine. We kind of wear other hats
Mm-hmm.
and are involved in multiple things, which is one of the reasons and one of the reasons I was attracted to the specialty. So
Wow, that is a lot of schooling though. That it's 12 years. So like in addition to like
yeah,
your K through 12, then you got 4 years of your bachelor's, 4 years of medical school, and 4 years of your residency.
yeah,
And so
it
the
is a lot. It
residency
is a
is
lot. So
to,
you have to be focused.
yeah, absolutely. So the residency is to basically specialize in a certain field in the profession, correct?
Exactly. You nailed it. So, obviously college is college and you don't have to do a math or science or anything like that to go into medicine. I would actually advocate for you to do something non-medical, right? Because
Okay.
honestly, those doctors I think are really well-rounded,
Mm-hmm.
and they tend to honestly just have other experiences. So do whatever, I would say, do whatever makes you happy and whatever you're interested in, whether that's dance, whether that's writing, humanities, whatever that may be. But then after that in medicine, obviously in medical school, that's where you learn, the foundations of medicine, and you're exposed to all the different specialties. And then you kind of figure out what you want to do after your 4 years. And then finally in residency is where you obviously hone your craft and you go into your particular specialty. So for me, it was emergency medicine. For other physicians, it may be general surgery, maybe internal medicine. It may be, orthopedic surgery. And obviously, depending on what specialty you go into, also determines how long of a training that's going to be. So for emergency medicine, for me, it's typically 3 to 4 years, or for that specialty, it's 3 to 4 years. So yeah, I don't know if that helps in answering the question.
Yeah,
but,
it does. And it kind of like answers the next question as well. The next question is, so what classes or courses would you take or would you recommend to take to prepare for it? And kind of like all kinds, but specifically anything in specific?
Are we saying we're talking about for college or high school? What are we talking about specifically?
Let's go ahead and do college. Let's talk about high school actually. Like what's something that a student would need to focus on?
Yeah, exactly. I think honestly, despite, be interested in whatever, like I said, you are interested in. Although I do think that obviously many of us obviously kind of gravitate towards math and science. So I always like biology. I like biology. I like biochemistry. And I was always interested in that. I was interested in how things worked. And I was interested in obviously the human body and stuff like that. So anatomy and physiology, if you could take that, would be a cool starter course. Obviously biology, and then there's probably sub courses that you could take within there. So that would be a good starting point, at least from a high school standpoint, for sure.
Okay, so, to have like a strong foundation in science and math.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you. So next question is, how many days do you work each week?
Yeah, great question. So it really depends. I work, some emergency doctors really, it's based on like a monthly hourly requirement. So they may work like 120 to 130 hours a month, which comes out to usually about like 12 to 14 shifts, because our job is based on shift work. So, and some work more, some work less. Some work, more than that. Some work less and have other responsibilities, whether they're, doing administration and whether they're doing research or other things. So there's a lot of different ways, but I would say on average, probably 12 to 14 days a month. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but I would say it's kind of like dog years. Obviously a shift in my job exactly is very tiring and demanding and stressful. And it's very different in some other careers, I should say. So even though it doesn't sound like a lot of work, it actually is a lot to work that much clinically. So.
Can you hear me?
Great question. So yeah, I can hear you. Shifts are, it's usually a variable. It depends. Sometimes they're 8s, sometimes they're 10 hours, and sometimes they're 12 hours. It really depends, but anywhere from 8 to 10 hours, 8 to 12 hours, I should say. But on average, usually like 8 to 10 is what I would say are the average shifts. And those could be at any time of the day, right? Because the emergency room never closes. It's open, 365, right? 24/7. So, I work my fair share of, I've definitely worked night shifts. I've worked weekends. I've worked holidays. So that's one of the harder parts of the job. I've definitely obviously missed holidays and family functions and things like that. But I mean, like I said, there also are positives in that you can kind of structure your life and, do things differently. You might have off a random Tuesday or Wednesday in the middle of the week, or you might have off like 2 weeks at a different time where you can do other things or travel or, take up other hobbies, which is one of the things I enjoy about the specialty.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for explaining that to me. So do you work with other people or do you work by yourself?
Great. So I am an academic emergency doctor. So I work in a big university. So I work at Columbia here in New York City. So I work with tons of other people. There are a lot of different practice models. There's some people who work, we would call it community medicine, where they work in just like a regular, hospital where your mom and dad would live, right? But then there's other hospitals that obviously are part of a bigger institution or a university or a school or something like that, which is where I work. So it really depends. And in those kind of environments, you work with tons of people because you're interacting with so many colleagues, and even out in the community too, right? Like
Yeah.
we are kind of the gatekeepers to the hospital. So we
Hmm.
work with internal medicine doctors, we work with surgeons, we work with clerks, we work with techs, we work with social workers. So
Hmm.
we're interacting and working with everybody, which is one of the, if you're a people person, then I would say, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to obviously juggle personalities and work with all types of people. So we definitely do that.
Yeah. So you have to work with other people no matter what.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so why did you choose this job?
Uh, Great question. I chose this job for a variety of reasons. I mean, obviously, like, yeah, you have to want to help people in some kind of capacity. I wanted to be stimulated and I wanted to honestly be challenged.
Hmm.
So honestly, medicine is definitely a career for that. Intellectually, for sure, because you're always
Hmm.
having to learn new things and you're always having to keep up with research, with innovation, with new treatments. So you're always learning, right? So
Yeah.
that was one aspect I enjoyed about the job. The other aspect, kind of like we alluded to before, is that I'm a very social person and I love
Hmm.
working with all types of people. And one of the things I enjoy too is that we take care of everybody. So unlike other fields of medicine where, I'm very, which is great too, and I have friends who do that, where they're highly specialized, I
Hmm.
like the fact that I know a little bit about everything and that I am a hands-on person and I can take care of people
Yeah.
at their worst, which is what happens when people come into the emergency room. And not everything that we do, like I said, is all, like a TV show. I
Yeah.
mean, yes, we treat heart attacks, we treat people who get shot and stabbed, who get hurt and break their bones and all that. But a lot of what we do is really just, more so just listening, being there and
Hmm.
reassuring people, whether it be grabbing them a blanket for someone who's homeless or grabbing them a sandwich. I think that's honestly some of the more rewarding things of my job, those little
Hmm.
intangibles.
Yeah.
And that's why I chose, I think, more so than anything to go into emergency medicine.
It takes a lot of like it takes a special person to do that as well. Not
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
can do that.
it does. And there's definitely, I mean, it's not all, like I said, it's not all glamorous. There's
Hmm.
definitely, you know what I mean? You're seeing the worst of people at their worst times. So people will be angry with you and they may curse at you,
Hmm.
or, you know what I mean? You're not dealing with the best of clientele all the times, and that's part of the job.
Yeah.
But that being said, I will say it's a very rewarding job. And obviously, with everything that's going on right now and the COVID pandemic, that's kind of reaffirmed that. So if you want a career where you feel like you're going to make an impact, granted, again, you have a long road to climb, but I think it's well worth it, even now with everything that's going on. So, yeah.
Thank you. So, how long have
hmm
you been doing this for?
So out of training, after finishing residency, I've been doing it for 3 years.
Okay.
So not, I guess, early on I mean, I guess I'm still early in my career as far as professionally. Usually people
Hmm.
do it for like, I mean, some people I know really do it for a really long time, like 30 years, which is a very long time in my
Yeah.
field. But I would say on average, people probably work about 20 to 25 years.
Yeah.
Because it does have, I will say that some of the not so nice things, it has a very high rate of burnout,
Hmm.
meaning that people can only, after a certain amount of time, they just get tired because of all the other things that I mentioned,
Hmm.
working the nights, working the late shifts, the holidays, the weekends, the stress. It does wear on you on time, so you can't do this forever. So
Yeah.
that's one of the caveats and one of the cons or things that people should be aware of when considering a career in medicine, let alone emergency medicine.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of self care. You're gonna need that as well.
Absolutely. And I think that, yeah, that's huge. I mean, no matter what you do in life, but definitely in this field for sure, you got to take care of yourself. So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
think you kind of touched base on this next question. It was, what's the most satisfying or exciting part about your job?
hmm hmm yeah, I think kind of like we said before, I definitely am an adrenaline junkie.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's definitely awesome to have someone come in who's really sick,
Hmm.
who has something wrong with them, whether it be a heart attack or they have like an overwhelming infection, or they've broken a bone, that's really rewarding to honestly fix that and have like a
Mhm.
solution, right? And other times it's also just nice, like I said, for people who come in and they just want to be heard, right? I may not be able to fix the issues that they have, right? The medical problems
Mhm.
that they have, but they just want to be heard and they just want to be reassured. And they may be anxious, or they may need other things, like I said, whether it be a blanket or a food or just a place to rest to rest because they're homeless. That's also really rewarding. I think the main thing and why I chose to work in like a university academic setting is I do like teaching, like mentoring. So being able to work with other students, being able to work with residents, and being in kind of that collegial atmosphere is something that's really gratifying to me. And I feel like I've had good mentors and good support and good people who've taught me. So I feel like I should only do the same by giving back. Hmm. Thank you. And you are too. We all are. Hmm. Yeah, I think we kind of alluded to that. The stress is definitely high. So if you can't handle stress, I would not recommend this job for sure. I think also, right now it's tolerable, but I don't like the fact that, like I said, I work nights sometimes, and it's okay for now. But the nights and the odd hours, having to switch between nights and weekends and day shifts, that's definitely hard. That's one thing I don't enjoy about my job.
Yeah.
Um, I think also, I mean, now with the pandemic, obviously everyone's been very appreciative of frontline workers. But prior to this and even before, there's obviously other issues, and people will get frustrated with you, and they may not like you for no particular reason, right?
Yeah.
And it may not be not because of that, but it's just because of what they're dealing with personally with their lives, or medically what issues they have, and they may take it out on you. So there are, like I said, when you're dealing with people at their worst, unfortunately, you may be a byproduct of some of that anger and frustration. Um, you have to juggle with, and it definitely wears on you over the course of your career. But again, you have to have thick skin. But either way, I still wouldn't choose any other field. So yeah.
Or worst, and it's hard for them to even like.
Exactly. Hold on. I think my connection isn't great. Can you hear me? Mm, I can. It's just a little shoddy. Hmm.
Is it better?
It's a little better now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So one last
Hmm.
question. It's if you could choose another job other than this, what would you choose?
Great question. I love to travel,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, I'm always curious. I think I would choose something. It's not something medicine related at all. I've always thought about being like a Nat Geo photographer, which I
Mm-hmm.
think would be really cool. Not that I'm a
Okay.
great photographer, but I think it would be cool to kind of travel the world and just like go to all these like unique, exotic locations and take
Yeah.
pictures of like nature and wildlife.
Uh-huh.
I think that'd be a cool job. Or like
That
having
would be,
something like, right?
yeah, that would be super cool. I want to do that right now.
Exactly, right? Just getting out. Or like maybe like, I don't know if you guys know, but obviously I was a big Anthony Bourdain fan and I like to
Mhm.
eat a lot. So having something similar where I just go around and sample all these amazing foods and cuisines and travel the world,
Yeah.
something where I can combine the two would be
Yeah.
ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Thank you
So,
so much. Well,
yeah.
let's see. We
All
have a
right.
couple questions that are wanting to be answered. And so the first
Okay.
question is, so how many patients do you see per day?
Mm. I think that really depends. it could be busy on certain days. It depends on obviously the hospital you work in. Depends on the particular day. And some days are just busier than others. And obviously with everything going on, like we had a surge with COVID, and now things are kind of slowing down. But it could be anywhere from 10 to 15 patients on a bit, on a normal day, but then on a busier day, I could see maybe 30, 40 patients.
Okay.
So it really just depends. But yeah, I would say average anywhere, maybe anywhere from like 15 to 20 patients a day. So
Yeah.
again, it's very variable depending on the type of emergency department and where you work geographically. There's so many other things that come into play. So
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you. Next question is, which of your fellow ER colleagues from medical school inspired you the most?
I don't know if it was fellow ER colleagues, but I definitely had fellow ER mentors. Oh, oh, I see who's asking that. That was actually one of my best friends. So I'd have to say Kurt McDonald definitely did, more so than anything. So we were supposed to go to residency together, but then I saw who asked that. So I'm gonna have to make fun of him for that after this call. But it'd probably be him, because we were supposed to do residency together. But then he says that I bailed and I went to California. So yeah.
That's so funny. Okay, and then the last.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
What type of trainings do you attend? Like, what are some of the trainings that you have to attend?
I guess so. We have to do, like I said, we're always learning. So there's mandated, like, we have to it's called CME, or continuing medical education. So we always have to kind of stay on top of our game, whether it be attending lectures, going to conferences, going to talks, etc. So that way we are staying on top of our field and we're up to date with the medical literature and just, the updates in the field. So those are the kind of things that we're doing, I would say, to kind of stay on top of it. Here, working in an academic center, we're privy to actually be around that all the time, because we're constantly, like I said, learning, and we are the ones who are holding trainings, who are giving lectures, who are doing all that. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much. That's all for questions.
thank you. No. Thank you. I was probably looking forward to this more so than in the past with everything going on. Because this is really what it's all about at the end of the day, obviously, to kind of just provide mentorship and just let people know, obviously, what opportunities are out there. So thank you for having me. And hopefully things, lighten up over there, and hopefully people can maybe get outside and we can get a sense of normalcy eventually. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out. I think you guys, have my contact information, but yeah. Okay. Thank you again.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for all you do as well. Have a great day.
You too. Take care. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.